This episode of the Local Hustlers podcast is brought to you by Pearson Moving. If you plan on moving in or out of the valley anytime soon, you have to check out Pearson Moving. They're licensed, insured, and they offer local and long-distance services. Go to movepearson.com to get your free quote today. Pearson Moving, movers that won't break the bank or your stuff.
You're listening to the Local Hustlers Podcast, East Valley Locals. Get connected with small businesses near you and dive deep into their stories, mindset, and motives. Entrepreneurs everywhere. Get ready to be inspired by business owners, entrepreneurs, and hustlers that you can relate to and learn from. And now, your hosts, Dallin Huso and Ridge Waldberg.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Local Hustlers podcast. Ridge and I are super excited to be here with self-taught graphic designer and marketer, Lauren Curl of Good Brand Marketing. How's it going, Lauren?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going really good. How are you guys today?
We're good. Excited to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Sweet. Well, how about we take a couple of minutes, tell us a bit about your background, life leading up to Good Brand Marketing.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Ohio, which is, I feel like, half of Arizona. Like, I feel like none of us are from here. But
implants.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm originally from Ohio. I went to, I grew up in this really, really tiny, like, super small town. And I want to say, like, the population is, like, I don't know, 5,000, like real tiny. And everybody kind of knows everybody. And, it was a good time. But needless to say, like, I feel like I'm one of those people that had just like bigger dreams. So after graduating from high school, I moved down to Columbus, which was probably my favorite city that I ever lived in. And that's kind of where I got the first taste of like graphic design and marketing and kind of all that stuff. So when I first moved to Columbus, I was working at an insurance agency. And, are you guys familiar with the insurance field?
A little.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You can probably educate us a bit.
Yeah, it's like pretty salesy, and so it's easy to sell, but it was like hard to market. So I started like working with one of the marketers for the company and kind of learning a little bit of background on that, and kind of like started to really see the benefit of marketing versus like sales, if that makes sense. Yeah. So after I decided that Columbus was too small for me, that's where I kind of made my moves out here. And I really fell into the beauty industry out here. So I was working at a salon. I was doing a lot of kind of behind the scenes stuff for an organization that, this is kind of weird, but they sell scissors. Huh. So, yeah, like they like sell scissors to hairstylists and barbers.
That's a really big deal, actually.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. Yeah. There's like a huge like market for it.
It really is. I was talking to my barber about it, and he said that like it's a big deal to have.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, like how I guess like when I think about like even looking at these microphones, like these are a nice tool for you guys. Yeah. Right. It's kind of like the same thing. Like scissors are a nice tool for them, Yeah. Their scissors are like my MacBook.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
So I get it. Yeah. But so I started working with this shear company, and I found myself a mentor, and I started realizing that I'm actually pretty good at doing this job, and started to dive into like virtual classes for graphic design, and really kind of honing in on like all of the Adobe skills and all that jazz. And took a few classes at the community college, but that's pretty much how this came about. So I started Good Brand Marketing about a year ago, and it's been so awesome. Like it really has. It's been so great to kind of work for yourself and kind of live that aspect of it. But since I've started it, I've had a lot of creative professionals who've come up to me, and I'm like, well, how do you do this? Like, I want to do this for photography, and I want to do this for social media content, and like, how did you do it? And then Good Brand Marketing kind of turned into, it kind of like spitballed into this collective. So now it's not just me; it's like a collective of people who like I have a full-fledged like product photographer who like works with me. That's cool. I have a like social media marketer who that's like her specialty. I even have a director of philanthropy so that we can like find some things to give back. But it's really fun. It's just at this point we're just a collective of people who just like to vibe and get creative and just have fun. Cool. That's kind of the best part of the job is it's just very artsy, and you get to kind of express, yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you could go back a little bit, you said something that was interesting to me, like the difference between sales and marketing.
Yeah.
To you, like, what's the difference?
Yeah, so marketing is kind of like getting people to look at the water. Sales is getting people to drink the water. So in order for people to see the water, that's where marketing comes into play. So marketing is more of like that aspect of putting it out there. And then sales is the aspect of like taking it once it's out there. So there's kind of that difference in between that marketing versus sales, because without sales, you don't have a reason to market. Without marketing, you don't have a reason to like sell. You have nothing to sell. So finding that division within different brands and kind of trying to figure out like, why aren't you getting sales? It really boils down to like poor marketing or just not having a good understanding of like how to market yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback off that question because the name of your company isn't just good marketing, it's good brand marketing. So how would you then describe the difference between branding and marketing?
Yeah, so branding is like who you are. Like it's like your spine. It's like the spine of a business. So it's everything from colors to your catchphrase to your spokesperson to, I mean, it's literally like if you were to look on a piece of paper and describe who you are, that's your brand. Yeah. So for us at Good Brand Marketing, we found it really easy to basically take a look at a business's like core and figuring out like who they are and then marketing off of that. Okay. So it became a little bit more of a turnkey experience instead of businesses contacting us for like, hey, we're running a promotion. Like we want you to help us market this promotion. Right. It's more of, hey, this is a brand. They're working with us through, they sign a contract or whatnot. And then they're with us over the next, certain amount of time to like run those certain promotions.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Would you say that like branding, marketing, sales, I mean, you throw advertising in there as well, is one more important than the other, or are they all equally important?
I think they're all pretty much equally important. I think it takes a really good hand holding experience through like all of them. Like I feel like if you're lacking in one, you're kind of failing in the other. So I think it's a good level system to have all of those in play.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you took a couple classes at community college. Did you like go through school, finish, graduate, or did you just take a few classes?
Yeah, so I actually went to Ohio State and I went to Ohio University because I was like really trying to like find my vibe. And OU was like Ohio University was kind of like they're notorious for being a party school. So I fell into that group. I was like, heck yes. So then I was like, I need to detach myself from this because I know that I'm better than this. So yeah, I did go to school. I never actually finished because I just kind of was like, okay, I get it. Like this is kind of the gist of it. Yeah. And I really found myself kind of falling into a job position. And I think at the end of the day, when I think of the number one thing that helped me, it's not my schooling. It wasn't the education. It wasn't the classes. It was truly just having a mentor, like someone that I can, email on, ask questions, and they provide me with the answer. And that was probably my biggest takeaway from learning this trade.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest things that this mentor taught you?
Oh my gosh, like literally everything. I'll like still text him. Like I'm like, hey, like I'm having a hard time doing this. Yeah. How would you do it? So I think honestly, when you have a mentor in any field, the best thing that you can do is take a dive into whatever you're trying to do and then ask for feedback. So for me, that was kind of the hardest lesson I had to learn was like, he wasn't going to do it for me, but if I attempted to do it and I failed, like he would help guide me. So that was pretty much like the biggest takeaway from that was just the biggest lesson was just try it and see how it lives and then ask for feedback after that.
That's cool. And you said you still stay in touch with this mentor?
Oh yeah, I love this guy. Like he's like on my speed dial. He's the best. That's awesome. Yeah.
And has he been pretty committed to helping you when you need it as well?
Yeah. So he currently works for the scissor company that I also, help and I do their social media for them. And so he's been kind of my biggest like partner in crime. Even just yesterday, I gave him a call. He was like, "Hey, curl." I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "I'm in the middle of a shoot." I was like, "I don't care. I need you to help me with this." But yeah, no, it's been really great. So if you can, I think just in general as an entrepreneur, I think it's a really good thing to find somebody who is also on this path
for sure
and just like hang out with them, because being a business owner can get lonely sometimes. Yeah. And it can kind of put you in a hole, and you find yourself trying to like in situations trying to dig yourself out of that hole. So having a kind of a co-partner in crime is huge.
That's cool. Yeah. How did it turn into like was it like a conversation, like you asked him to be your mentor, or how did it turn into more than just like you randomly asked him for advice, but like he's your mentor? Does he do it for other people, or is it just a special connection that the two of you have?
No, I think it's probably just a special connection. So basically the scissor company asked me to take over their social media.
Yeah.
And at the point in time, drink break. At the point of time when I took over the social media, I want to say that they had like 80,000 followers. So they had like a pretty big run of followers. And so this was kind of my first battle with social media as like a giant like that.
Right.
They were my largest client. So I was kind of asking him questions about like, oh, what do you do with negative comments? Or, oh, like, what do you do with, this type of situation? Like, how do you share this kind of stuff? And it just kind of boiled into, the more I would ask him questions, the more he'd be like, okay, let me help you with this. And, really it just kind of turned into this friendship. And next thing I knew, I'm flying out to California. I'm going to like trade shows with him. I'm doing all kinds of fun stuff. So, it's been fun. I guess kind of just a pro tip, the best part of social media, I think one of the number one takeaways that I took from running this brand, this mega giant of followers is just be funny and like have a good time. And that was honestly like the number one thing that he told me. He's like, make memes, like make them dank. Like he's like, have some fun. So now I'm like, when I introduce myself, I'm like, hi, I'm Lauren. I make memes for a living. Like,
That's awesome.
So I'm like, just ignore everything else I do. The memes are the things I'm most proud of,
That's funny. So do you post a lot of memes on your own account?
No, not on my own Instagram, but definitely on the Instagram accounts that I run. So there's a few brands that probably wouldn't do well with memes that like to keep it pretty like classy with their like perfectly like bokeh'd photos, and I love that for them. Like that's so great, but it is good to have a little bit of fun and have some comedy in the caption. I think that's probably the number one like thing for engagement on a social media is just like have fun with it and be humorous.
Well, it makes the content shareable, right? And
for
then
sure
can be discovered by more
people.
Yeah,
when I post a meme on the scissor company's page, my god, that thing like soars, like, and it gets reposted. And it's funny, I'll be like laying in bed and I like roll over to my husband and I'm like, hey, like, memes posted my meme. I'm like, that's so dope, like cool. I made this, like that's pretty cool. Like no one knows it's me, but I know.
That's super funny.
So it's pretty rad.
So going back to when you started, obviously you realized that you had a bit of a knack, a talent for marketing, graphic design. What made you decide that you wanted to be an entrepreneur and start your own business rather than just work for another company doing it?
My friends, actually. My friends were huge at supporting me in that. They saw that I was taking on a bunch of like side projects. We'll call it side projects. I would have I had like a real estate agent that was like, hey, can you like redo my business cards and do this for me? And I was like, oh, like for sure. Like, yeah, I've got this, and for like the first year of me doing it, I was like, just like low key, like Venmo me, like no big deal, I got you. Like, and then I was like, oh man, I should probably legalize this. Right? Like if I'm ever in like trouble, like I should probably, slap an LLC on this that has like insurance. So really the reason why I turned it into a business was truly just because like I like number one wanted to like make sure I could pay my taxes on this kind of stuff and have it like account for my wages. And so that was kind of my main drive. And then when I saw, I was like getting more business and I was getting asked to like do events and getting asked to like speak at things, I was like, okay, like I feel like I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing here. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, really my friends were just the biggest push for me. Like they were like, legalize your business. I was like, yes, good idea. I'll totally do that, Yeah. So, but that was pretty much it. Yeah.
That's cool. Where did the name come from?
So I used to tell everybody that I wasn't bad. Like people would be like, oh, are you good at it? I'd be like, well, I'm not bad. So like, like when I would,
it's actually a great response.
So, I actually sell like merch in my store and one of the shirts I sell says not bad on it. Cause that was like my catchphrase.
That's funny.
So, but yeah. And then it just turned into, if you're not bad, you've got to be good. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the opposite of bad. So, I like my Instagram name was Lauren is Good. So it just kind of like vibed with my, I guess, personal brand. So of the whole not bad thing. So yeah, that's pretty much where it came from.
That's cool.
That's super funny. Was it hard or scary, I guess, getting started on your own and like looking for your first couple of clients?
Yeah, so scary. I remember having a moment of like, oh my gosh, is this for me? Like, did I just have a good wave? And then I had this like moment where I was super dead and super slow, and it was very scary. And I was talking to so many people about it because I was like, oh, what would you do? Like, what would you do? What would be your next move? And everyone was just like, you know, you got to keep going. Like, you really got to ride. And I mean, truly, like when you take a dive off of a diving board and you go into a deep end and it's like the high dive, you don't know what that's going to feel like unless you've done it before. Mm-hmm. So that was my first experience in really like jumping off of something that was that high up and really trying to swim in waters.
Right.
And somebody told me at one point, they were like, you know, there's a lot of like people out there that do this, right? And I was like, yeah, like totally. Like I get it. Like there's a ton of teachers. There's a ton of, banks. There's a ton of things. Like there's a reason why people choose people to work with. And I said, and I just hope my reason is bigger and stronger than someone else's. Yeah. But if it isn't, like no big deal. Like I'll find somebody else. So I kind of like took that kind of negativity that was like brought from that person who told me that, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna beat you. Like I was like,
it's a good mindset.
Yeah, like I don't want to fail, you know what I mean? So just basically like I'm just, you know, trying to succeed every day by basically kicking like the stereotype of small business failing, like struggling, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was super scary, and then all of a sudden it was just not scary anymore, and it was just not scary anymore. And then I started getting like consistent clients. And so it was as soon as the consistency came in, that's when I was like, all right, we're in a good spot. We're vibing. Here we go. Like we've got money for a year. Like let's do the thing. And then just me like preaching about it and having fun with it and talking to other creative professionals. That's kind of how we all like vibed together and realized that there isn't like a company that does this for you. So like if I were to go and work at a marketing firm or I were to go and work at like a content making agency, there's nobody in there that's going to support me the way that I'm going to support me. And there's nobody in there that's going to support like my friends the way that I'm going to support my friends. And so having the collective with good brand marketing and knowing that all of us have our strengths, and that if there's something that someone is asking for and like I can't physically do it because I don't know how to do it, like I know that I'm going to promote my my coworker, my friend, like my fellow artist, comrade. You know? So it's less of just like me being like the CEO. It's like more so like we're all in this together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You talk about friends a lot. Like how important is it to find good friends that help you become better, I guess? Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that you say that because I used to travel and I used to teach. I used to teach in like an education forum. Mm-hmm. And so I would travel around the United States, and I never really went anywhere else. Like, I wish I would have, like maybe even Canada would have been cool. I don't know. Like, why am I here? But I would travel around, and one of the things that I would talk about is like finding your unit, is like finding your people. People that you can support on, people that you can lean on, people that can motivate you, like give you advice, whatever. Yeah. And for a lot of the times when I think of like who makes up my unit, who makes up like my friends, it's more than just friends, it's family. Mm-hmm. Like I know that I can lean on my grandma if I need support in like watching my children, or I know that I can lean on my husband if I need support for this, or I got a friend who she's a fantastic entrepreneur and she's starting her own business too. Cool. In a completely separate industry, and so it's fun to be able to have just that type of friendship with someone. And I tell people all the time that if you're with someone who isn't on your same level, and I'm not like I don't mean like with romantically, I mean just in general. I mean, you can be with them romantically. I don't know what your life is like, live it. But if you're with someone and they're not on the same like level of drive as you, it's never gonna work out. Like friendship, truly, to have a really good friend, you have to have the same drive. It has nothing to do with the interests that you like. It really doesn't have anything to do with that. It has just everything to do with like that drive. Like, do you want to hang out? And the person says no. Okay, well, you don't have the same drive as me. Like, get out of here. Like, I'm gonna go find someone that does. Yeah. So, and like for me, a friend is somebody that like I have friends that do a bunch of stuff that I probably would never do. Yeah. But I'm like, hey, I'm here for you. Like, yeah, I'll do this. Like, sure, let's try it. Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like having the drive is so important, and having friends that kind of support your drive is huge.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
And so all your friends, you said you have one other friend that's an entrepreneur. Do you have a lot of other friends that are kind of in the entrepreneurial world, or is it pretty foreign to most
so
of them?
With the scissor company, I've made a lot of friends in the beauty industry. That's kind of where my background comes from in general. So I have a friend that started his own like men's product line. It smells phenomenal. It's like the best smell I've ever smelled in my life. Like literally, he was like down at bars in Scottsdale, like smell this to like women. And like, which one of these scents would you take home? I'm like, you can't ask people that. He's like, I'm doing it. I was like, okay.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So he makes a men's product. I have a couple friends who are in like the business of education. So they're trying to become like platform artists in the hair industry, which is huge. And then I have another friend that makes his own like watches. Like they like have like different bands and stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, live it.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny that you say that. I guess I didn't realize how many people I have around me that are kind of like doing it and doing things. Like I have a friend that makes barbecue sauce. Like
really?
I don't know how I found that guy, but hey, he's in my circle.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's just so cool to have a network of, I mean, anyone can find a network of people, but what a bonus to have like close friends that are, you know, kind of in similar experiences as you. And even though they're completely different industries, I think there's a lot of overlap and a lot of similar things that we go through that we can, you know, help each other out with and give each other tips and advice. So that's
for sure. I think that energy that you put out is kind of given back to you. And so I think people see me and they see that I'm like, I've got this like power walk when I walk around things, and they're like, that girl looks like she's powerful. And I'm like, yeah, I sure am 5'3", like living it. So
you brought up a good point earlier that obviously it's a pretty saturated market. Like there's a lot of other people that are doing maybe not exactly what you're doing, but similar things, marketing, graphic design. What do you do to stand out or be different, I guess, than everyone else out there?
I do a lot of like social clubs. So, and I mean, yes, a little bit on social media, but I mean like in person.
Okay.
So, I'm involved in a few different like backbones of the community. So, there's like a local newspaper that's kind of like a yearbook, but for communities.
Yeah.
So I go to like monthly meetings for that. I'm involved with like the local chamber of commerces. But really for me, it's always been about getting face to face with someone. When I'm face to face with someone, I think I sell better than when I'm like behind a screen. Yeah. So, at least me personally, I sell. I can sell anything from behind a screen, but me personally, I know I'm better face to face. Yeah. So, for me, I just get out there in the community and I try to find like excuses to go places and kind of introduce myself. I made stickers for myself, so I am like literally like tacking that stuff on it, like stop signs. Like I'm like, here I go, and just kind of like putting it out there that way. And so for me, I don't know. I guess I think like me, I'm different. Like I'm goofy. I am a little bit wild. I'm always on time and sometimes late, but that's just me. I'm never early, you know. And I don't know. I just feel like for me, I feel special. And so because I feel special, I know that I'm doing clients something different than anyone else would do, if that makes sense. Like I know the madness that lives inside of my head is different than someone else's madness, and their like creative, you know, thought process is different. So yeah.
Where did you find, because you've mentioned that you've brought other people on into the business as well, where did you find those people, and how did you find people that kind of matched your energy and your same vibe?
Networking. So just through networking events, friends of friends, and just conversations. Probably my favorite story is our director of philanthropy. She's actually my mother-in-law's like best friend. Cool. So she's like dope as hell. Like man, she's so much fun. But her thing came about because she took us all to the M3 Fest, like last year, the music festival that happens here. And she's probably going to kill me if she ever listens to this, so I hope she doesn't. But she got so chocolate wasted, like so drunk.
We're going to send this to her.
Just like this, she's the best though. She's literally the best. But she, in this moment of drunkenness, was talking to me about how much she loves giving back and how much she like loves doing, you know, things like, and just like giving people reasons to grow. And she connected me with a few different charity organizations that she helps. But I mean, really, it's just all through like networking and just showing up. So I kind of have this motto. It's answer the phone and show the F up. So, you know, as long as you do those two things, like you're going to be a successful like business entrepreneur, like answer the phone and show the F up. Like that's all you can do as a business owner that you know that you can count on. So I show the F up.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So.
Do Do you spend more time cleaning your pool than you spend swimming in it? Then call Flamingo Pools today. Flamingo Pools is your go-to swimming pool maintenance and repair company in the East Valley. Whether it's weekly maintenance, repairs, green to cleans, or one-time cleanings, Flamingo Pools will take care of you. Honest, reliable, and innovative. Just a few of the many good things Flamingo Pools customers have to say about them. Ask them about their mineral treatment, which will keep your chemical levels down, allowing you to have a healthier bathing experience. At Flamingo Pools, they know that your pool was made to be enjoyed, so let them handle the rest. Check them out at azflamingopools.com or give them a call at 480-422-6013. Mention this podcast and you'll get your first month of maintenance completely free. That's azflamingopools.com and 480-422-6013.
So when it comes to networking, like let's say worst case scenario, you have like absolutely no connections in the entrepreneurial world. Where can you get started, I guess, to try to start networking and find people?
Facebook groups are probably the biggest like asset to us. My gosh, the amount of like number one drama that happens in a Facebook group has like fueled my quarantine vibes.
So
I'm
much.
like, go on, like typing, like tell me more about this drama. But Facebook groups are honestly a really great place to begin. There's also like I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups, but probably my favorite is like this women focused business one. So it's I think it's like Women in Marketing is what it's called. And so it's just a bunch of people in there that literally are like, hey, help me with this. And I mean, that's one way to kind of connect with people. I've gotten like followers from that because I'm like, hey, you can connect with me on this and we'll, chat this way. And it's been cool. But honestly, Facebook is a really good place to start.
I think that's great advice. There's broad Facebook groups for just like business in general, and then you can also find like super specific niche like industries.
Oh yeah. I'm in a social media marketer group, and I swear it's just like one guy who posts all the time. But man, we are all doing this guy a favor. Yeah. He's asking so many questions and he gets so many answers. But I mean, truly, that's the benefit of being in a Facebook group with a collective of people who find a passion that's the same interest as you. So.
Right, because that's the reason they're in the group. They love it. They want to talk about it. They want to share what they know and learn as well. So.
Oh yeah, like think about how good you feel when you're talking about something that you love. Like, it's a good feeling. So.
Well, and YouTube is great, but it's good to be able to chat with people too. So yeah,
for sure. I think Udemy is also a really cool program too, and then Skillshare is a great
someone
place
mentioned that the other week.
Yeah, somebody did.
Yeah, do you want to talk about more like what Udemy is exactly?
Yeah, so they're basically like paid YouTubes. So you can sign up for like courses. You have like an instructor. And then they you download these videos from like a library, and some of the courses are multiple sessions. Some of them are, just like 1 hour long thing. Some of them are 15 minutes. It just depends on what you get. But Udemy is really cool because they're pretty much always having some version of a promotion. So if you're like an entrepreneur on a budget, that's a great place to kind of start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Is Skillshare kind of the same thing?
Yeah, basically the same platform. I prefer Skillshare a little bit more than Udemy because Skillshare is, I feel like, in my opinion, is a little bit more artist focused. But realistically, both of them are great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the process of like, okay, so let's say a business comes to you, they want your help. So what's the process of you like looking into their business? What all can you offer to them? What kind of business
for sure.
Expect?
90% of the initial first inquiries are for logo design. So people are like, oh, hey, do you do logos? And I'm like, yeah, like here's my packages. And then I send them a PDF of like a little booklet that they can view. And in the booklet is like pretty much everything that I offer on a small word scale because I don't want to like send them an encyclopedia. I will if they want it, but don't get me wrong. I've typed an encyclopedia before. Yeah. But so pretty much 90% of the requests I get are for logo, and then once we kind of dive into logo, then they start talking about kind of that branding booklet and picking out that color. Like that's part of my logo packages. Is you can get like a quick logo, or you can get like a branding logo that kind of comes with this idea. But that's pretty much 90% of my business is just kind of like those startups.
Yeah.
And then for other portions of things, like I've kind of put energy out there. Like I wanted to learn how to become a better brand photographer. So I posted in a Facebook group offering like a heavy discount on photos and doing like $3.50 per edited photo, so then you can have it for your brand. And But so basically on my website, I have like a portfolio of things that I do, and they can kind of take a look at that. But I don't really market good brand marketing on my own social media. Occasionally I'll put like, oh, hey, check out this logo that I designed, or like, look at this neon sign I just drew, like something like that. But realistically, all of the source comes from my website. So pretty much everything that I do is on there. But I do logos, branding, brand photography, because I actually have probably one of the best brand photographers who is part of our unit. We do social media. I have a girl who that's her whole job. So that's what she does all day long. She's like the person who comments on stuff. Nice. And like, she's like, hello. I'm like, I see you. Like from my social media to her. I know I see you. And then we have, let's see. What else do we do? We have some advertising. So we have people who just do like advertisement in numbers. So digital advertising and then paper advertising. So I have an expert that kind of knows that. Really? And then we also do website design, website updates, and then app design.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That's my brother. That's his game.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I don't know anything about coding. That guy can code anything. I'm like, you're hired. You got this. Really? So.
How important, in your opinion, is having like a really good logo? Because you said that's like 90% of
I think it's important. I think it's really, like when anybody's starting off their logo, I think it's really cool to have a really strong logo to begin with. But if you're changing your logo, I think it's really cool to incorporate a part of your old logo into that new transition. But yeah, I mean, it's literally like when I think of Target, like when you think of Target, what do you think of? Like what part of the logo do you think of first? Like the bullseye, the center, right? The bullseye, like the bullseye. Yeah. But Target's whole logo is a bullseye and then like the font in lowercase Target. Right. So like that's their full logo. So for me, it's like you can have a strong logo like Target, but people are going to recognize you for probably one part of that logo. So it's trying to figure out like which part of that logo that you want to be the strongest and kind of stand out, if that makes sense. And for Target, that's that dang bullseye. Man, I see that thing everywhere. It haunts me.
Yeah. I don't even recognize, like, it's just the bullseye. It's not Target.
Yeah. Even the dog, like the dog that they have has the bullseye. You know what I mean? Like they've incorporated that trademark into everything that they can think of. So it's pretty important.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's say a business comes to you, they have a really low budget, they can only focus on one thing, whether that's like a logo, new website, social media, branding, marketing. What would you say the one thing that they could get started on would be?
So being that I started a business and I understand like the hunger of wanting to work for yourself and not having a strong budget, I'm always willing to like work with someone's budget. I have someone that I'm designing a logo for them right now. That's like, I was like, here, just like, we'll do $100 and I'll send you, your logo. We'll do like a couple different colors and I'll send you like a mini branding kit. So, for me, like as a small business owner, I think whatever your budget is, I'm confident that I can create something for you. I mean, heck, we have a department of philanthropy. Like there's a way that I can do something for a small business that I'm able to do it on behalf of like good brand marketing, if that makes sense. So, I think it depends on the industry.
Yeah.
Like I think for sure it depends on the industry. If you are a clothing company, which I work with a lot, I think probably the most important is social media. When I think of clothing brands and how I'm buying social media, I'm not looking at their logo. I'm looking at the actual item of clothing.
Right.
So I think that's probably the most important thing for that. When it comes to like restaurants, same kind of situation. Like it's more about the actual social media and that kind of layout. I think having a logo in the restaurant world is cool, but it's not really that serious. Yeah. Like I'm not like going to a restaurant specifically because of their logo. You know what I mean? True. Like I'm going to the restaurant because I really love chips and guac and they have the best guac. Yeah. You know? Like here for it. So it really does depend on the industry. So yeah. If you're a hairstylist, like the logo is important because it's like your watermark. It's how you don't forget. Like it's how people don't like steal your work, which is big in that industry.
Yeah. How do you kind of figure out pricing? Like that's always like a interesting thing. How have you figured out how to price people?
That's a great question. I have changed my pricing like 100 times. I swear I'm like, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. Basically like I kind of shopped at other graphic designers and I was like, oh, what are these people charging? Like, what do they do? And I started off charging something really low. And then as I've continued my education, as I've gotten stronger, as I grew as a business owner, I upped my prices a little bit. So, my prices right now are probably mid-range, I would say. They're not like insanely high, high because I'm not coming from like a huge marketing firm, which was a reason why people would charge like insanely high prices. But realistically, like if you're shopping, if you're looking for your own business and you're trying to find something, I would look at what other competitors are charging and then try to stay within that same realm.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of shoot right in between there.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think it's good to know your worth too. And I feel like a lot of people undercharge for services, and I don't do that. Like if I'm like, that's way too low, like I wouldn't do that. Like you have to know your worth
for sure.
Yeah.
When people sign up, is a lot of the work just like a one-time fee, or do you try to get people on like monthly recurring payments where you're continuing to do work for them?
For social media, it's a monthly reoccurring contract, so they're under a contract with me, and I have my QuickBooks automatically sends a invoice at the end of every month, and and then they're just through that. But with some smaller brands, it'll just be kind of like a one-time thing. But then I have like an email list. So occasionally, it's not all the time because I personally hate emails. I'm like, please stop. Like, I don't need to know what your COVID plans are. Like, nobody cares. Like, so for me, email marketing is like the worst. So for me, I'll send out like an occasional, like, hey, just so you know, I know you're a small brand, but it's more personal. Like I have like a notebook that I keep a running log of just who my customers are and kind of what their goals are and expectations.
For sure.
That's one of the kind of like first things that a new client gets is they get a packet that I have them answer like 40 questions on who they are and what they want and what their ultimate goal is. And then I refer back to that. So about every 3 months, I look through like my client list and I'm like, okay, like this person wanted to be at this point by this time of this year. Like, let me check in on them and see if they need anything. And most of the time they do. They're like, oh yeah, I'm so glad that you reached out. Like, I need this promotion. So if you're genuine in your approach, I think it sells so much more than just like, when you're ready, come back. Like, I'm like, I know you need this. I've seen your social media.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Since we have a lot of small business owners or future entrepreneurs that are listening to the show, what's some more maybe marketing advice or social media advice that you could kind of offer or tell us about?
Yeah. So I think marketing is huge. I think social media marketing is even bigger than paper marketing.
Yeah.
One of my best pieces of advice for just anyone out there who's starting a new business is truly just like bring your A game. Develop content ahead of time. Like for me, I spend Sundays making content for the brands that I help. And I have like a photo shoot like pretty much consistently every Sunday where I just kind of do what I need to do, get the content, I'm ready to go. If there's a individual that's sending me stuff, like I do that, same time. So I pretty much plan out as a business owner 1 day a week to develop content for the next 7 days.
Cool.
So get yourself like a planning program. I use a program that's called Later, which is, I love them. They're amazing. They're great. And they're super supportive on social media too. So if you have a question, they pretty much answer.
Nice.
But I use Later for mine. There's free ones that are called Unum and Planoly and a whole bunch of the stuff. But pretty much just plan out your week and just like don't let social media and don't let your marketing be the reason why you're not working. So just get it ready. And then that way come the day, like what you're pushing out that day. So that would be my best advice is just plan in advance and then develop some cool content. Make it funny. Have a good time with it,
What's the key to good content in your opinion?
Let's see. Probably, the memes get the best engagement. Yeah, so if there's like a way for you to incorporate like just something quirky like that into your thing, do it. One of my favorite follows to follow is a mattress company. And they don't like necessarily make memes, but they'll like put riddles in their stuff, which I think how odd, like a mattress company, but I'm like, I want that mattress. Like they make riddles. Like that's so cool. So I think just have some fun with it and like literally try to put it out there. Captions are probably the hardest like work.
Right.
And that sometimes I hit like a dead frame. Like I'll look at my husband and I'm like, am I not funny today? Like what's my deal today? Like how do I come up with this? And so that's why I say just kind of focus on a Sunday. And what I find is just listening to like comedy podcasts really put you into a mood of like, okay, let's get this going. Like kind of having a good time or watching, I don't know, a Netflix special. My gosh, there's so many on there, but find your vibe and plan out that content for that week. So just be in a good like headspace.
Friends goofing around like I'll just have things come to my mind. So I get on my notes. I'm just like writing all these things out. I'm like, okay, I got to remember this.
Totally. Yeah. No, I live my life based off of this thing that's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's like, if it pops in my head, like I've got 5 seconds to like do it.
Or it's gone.
So yeah. So I'm like constantly, my notes of my phone is like huge.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. And who knows when the creativity hits, it hits. Like for me this morning at 4 a.m., I was like, I'm gonna make some memes. Like
whenever it comes, it comes.
It
right?
really did. I was like, I woke up, I was like, I'm funny. Like, let's do this.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I just think gear up, get yourself in the right headspace, and make that content like once a week, and just put it out there.
Nice. I think it's good because like once you get in that frame of mind, you might as well like hash out a couple hours and just get it all ready for the week instead of every day trying to be like, all right, now what do I post today? Now what do I post today? I think that can be super draining.
Sure. Even as a business owner, like even as someone who's in the creative business, like sometimes I work like 14 hours because I'm like, I'm on a roll. Like here I go. And the other days I'm like, I'm going to like just crop one thing out of a photo today. See you later. Like I
some
have
days
no
it's
juice
just not
today.
your day. Like, some days it's like, I don't know why, but I'm not doing that today. So.
No, totally. And it happens less than it happens like less than when you are in a group, but when it happens, man, you just gotta like ride that. You gotta take that day off.
For sure.
I feel like as a business owner, I get more work done when my juices are flowing than when I'm just like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and that's why when they are flowing, like do as much as you can so that when you're not in the best mood or it's just not your day, that you've kind of already in advance made up for that and done the extra work.
That's why I like Sundays. Like Sundays is like just a fun day, So I'm like, Sunday fun day. Like here I am. I'm ready to get this going. We're gonna get some brunch and then we're gonna make some content. Like it's gonna be a good day.
Just recharge for the week, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So it's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
With everything you're doing, what would you say is your favorite part about being a business owner, entrepreneur?
The freedom, the flexibility, being able to take a day off if I need to. With everything that's going on in the world, it's been honestly the biggest blessing. I have like 2 kids at home and one of them is in school, and I just talked to my husband. I was like, I have no idea how we're going to do this. And then I was like, oh wait, I do have an idea. I'm going to the store to buy him a desk. I'm like, he's going to be in his office too. So honestly, the flexibility of being a business owner is great. It gets stressful because you're trying to figure out like what's next for you, but the flexibility, I think, for me, it outweighs the stress. Yeah.
And then with that, what's your favorite part of this business?
Probably the people that I get to meet. I found myself in a niche market in the beauty industry. Like I said, I come from the beauty industry. I grew up in a salon. Like I kind of like found myself into that. And what I have found is working with other artists has really brought out the creativity for me. Like, I don't know, just like seeing somebody else make something really cool. I'm like, ooh, like that's cool. I'm going to try something like that too. So for me, it's just being able to literally like work with people that I know are just as creative as me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Also, so I've noticed that you're a very like confident and happy person. How do you keep that going? Like,
I drink a lot of energy drinks. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, whatever works.
As there's one on the table. It's not cracked open.
It's not open yet, guys. But how have you developed that? Like, how have
that's
you
a great.
gained
No, that's
that
honestly
mindset?
a really great question. Man, I've been through a lot in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that I have been faced with a lot of demons, and I think that I have worn a lot of sadness in my life. And just as somebody who has come from that, I'm kind of like a phoenix. Like I've risen above a lot of like challenges in my life and a lot of like reasons why I shouldn't succeed. And for me, that gives me the confidence. It's like almost like every time that I overcome something that has affected me like mentally or emotionally or physically, I'm like, oh wow, like look at how strong I am. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I just turned 35 this year, and I feel like at 30 was when I was like, okay, I got my shit together. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm living my best life, you know? So, and then every year that I grow as a person, or every year that I kind of embrace my flaws, I only get like stronger. Like, I know that I'm not perfect. I know that there are mistakes that I make. I know I'm a huge procrastinator. I know that I'm sometimes late. I'm always on time, but I'm sometimes late. You know, I'm never early. Like, I think if you know those things about yourself, like, I don't know, you just kind of like put that out there. Like, I know my flaws, be proud of who you are, and just live your best life, you know?
Cool. No, I mean, obviously we all go through hard things in life, but I think it's a good reminder to see someone that's gone through a lot, but are still able to be a happy person. Like, as hard as life can be, it could definitely be worse. And we always have control over our attitude and how happy we want to be.
For sure. When I was in high school, I was voted most optimistic in class clown.
That's awesome.
And you had to choose one. And I was like, do I want to go down in history as like the class clown? Or do I want to go down in history as like a positive person?
What'd you pick?
I was like, I'll go with most optimistic. But like secretly, I'm like, dang, like I could have been class clown.
The class clown's the best. Like,
it really is.
I always liked when it was like parent-teacher conference. And my teacher, in a negative way, would tell my mom, he's just a class clown. And I'm like sitting over there.
You're like, that's a compliment. Yeah. I feel that. Like,
oh,
thank
that's
you.
so sweet of you.
Like, I don't know. I'm a goofy person, so I just, live it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You mentioned stress, but is there anything else that's like a negative aspect of being a business owner?
For me, no. For me, I love it. I love diving in. I love projects. I love swimming and like being like I'm like literally my eyes are barely above the water and I love it. Like I love that. So for me, not really. I could see how as a business owner it would get stressful for someone to swim with their head barely above the water. Yeah. But for me, I'm like, okay, like it just makes me hungrier. It makes me like prepared and I like dive in. I have had like stressful moments when I've been trying to do something and I've failed and couldn't do it. I've had, my gosh, photo shoots where I've needed to take like literally, you guys, 8 photos and I've taken like thousands of them because I couldn't get the photo right. Wow. And I'm like just throwing away, memory cards on my camera or I'm doing something. And one of the best pieces of advice that someone gave me was throw it away and start over the next day. And I was like, okay, cool. So if I am finding myself in a stressful moment, I just throw it away and then I start clean the next day. You are only responsible for the present. You can't control the past. You can't control the future. So if you just stay in like the present mindset of like, I'm going to do this. I've got this. Even like 10 seconds ago is part of the past.
Right.
So there's no reason to like harbor on it. So just throw it away, pick up and do your best the next day.
That's super good advice.
Yeah.
And then when you mentioned like just how you kind of enjoy that being head underwater, I think that's why it shows that not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur because not everyone can handle that. But for some people, it's like, there's a bit of a thrill that comes with that. Or it's like you can't live any other way.
Right? Like I would much rather like swim like this, like through my business, barely like sinking and also standing than go skydiving. But like I would still love to do that. You know what I mean? Like I love the thrill. So it's exciting.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, Lindsay, we've had a super fun time today. Before we kind of close up, we have a fun little game we're going to play with you.
Okay.
So how it's going to go is you have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible that we're going to ask you.
Okay, cool.
These are just questions about you, your preferences, what you like.
They're not hard at all. Super easy.
And it's going to just be like rapid fire. So we're going to see how many of the questions you can get in the 60 seconds.
Okay.
So we're going to pull it up here. You got it?
I'm ready, yep.
All right. And Ridge will start us off. In 3, 2, 1.
Favorite junk food?
Favorite junk food? Popcorn.
Nice.
If you were stuck on an island, what would you bring?
A radio.
Best business book you've read?
Fuck Off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Music you turn on when nobody's around?
All of it. EDC.
If you could have dinner with anyone in time, who would it be?
Marilyn Monroe.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I'd be invisible.
Who's your celebrity crush? Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Oh God, why can't I remember his name right now? That guy that's like from the 90s movies. Heath Ledger. There we go.
TV show you could binge watch?
How I Met Your Mother.
A conspiracy theory you believe?
Ooh, aliens. But I feel like they just proved that to be true.
If you could turn an inanimate object into life, what would it be?
Probably like a lamp.
If you could swim in any liquid, what would it be?
Ooh, Jello.
Most embarrassing moment?
Oh, I peed my pants at school dance. Nice. So I peed my dress.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Fruits
and
and
there's the timer.
Oh dang.
That was really good.
I was like, which one was more embarrassing? When I smelled so bad and I learned about deodorant, or when I peed my pants? I was like, teenage years.
That's nice when you got a couple options to choose from.
Right.
The best years.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Before we close up, do you have any last words or any last piece of advice? I know you've given so much advice already, but just to any sort of entrepreneur, whether they're just starting off or whether they've been in business for a while, what would you tell them in terms of improving their business?
I would just say like be yourself and hold your ground. I think as a business owner, there's a lot of decisions that are pushed your way, and there's a lot of choices that you have to choose from. And I think just going with your gut is the biggest like lesson. Just do it. If you feel like this is going to be good for you, then do it, and just know that every choice that you make is either a blessing or it's a lesson. And so as a business owner, you just can't be afraid to have a lesson and like not the blessing. So I love lessons. I think that's what you learn. That's how your business is created as a foundation. That's how it gets its spine. So why not just kind of embrace that and just like go with your gut and make every decision that you make based off of like what you believe is right for your business, for your brand, because only you know what that is.
I love it. So much good advice.
That's great.
Oh, good.
It is great. Yeah. It's been awesome. Thank you so much for
thanks for having us, or for me, I should say.
Thank you for being so happy. And,
Sorry. I know it's like early in the morning for those who are
radiant.
listening, and I'm like raged.
So, it's great. It's great.
Before we actually close up, why don't you just tell our listeners where they can find you if they're interested in working with you?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram. It's Lauren is good, so LAUREN, and then is good, like not bad. And I have a website that's laurenisgood.com, or it's just goodbrandmarketing.com, and that's probably the best way to get in contact with us. But I just you could send me a smoke signal, or I'll find you. You see me around town. I'm always wearing a yellow backpack. That's me.
All right. Well, that won't be hard to miss.
I know, right?
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Lauren. I've had a lot of fun today and learned a ton from you. So
thanks for having me.
Anytime. We'll catch y'all next week.
See ya.